Dear students and friends, I am here to share few concepts related to the management, which we call it as principles of management. In general, management is an art of dealing with things that will help us to manage the work, meeting the needs or the objectives of the organization in an effective and efficient way. There are many career gurus or management gurus who has dealt with this management principles. Taylor, McLean, Maslow. There are many people, many people who have dealt with the principles of management. So here, the management, as I said, it is you are dealing with all the matters which will help you to meet the needs or the objectives of the organization in an effective and efficient way. The role of a manager plays a very vital role here. So, what are the various roles that is being performed by a manager? Interpersonal role, informational role, commanding role. Okay, these are few roles that are being performed by a manager. So, in general, the various activities performed by a management or the manager in a management is planning, staffing, controlling, directing, leading, all these activities. Okay, first let me tell you about what do we mean by the word planning. Whenever you start a work, you should have a defined plan, and whenever you work towards the plan, your work will be able to reach the goal without any hindrances, as well as it will avoid the unnecessary cost that will be incurred whenever you are carrying out some activity. So planning is the first and foremost role that is to be concentrated on before you start any kind of work. Next is organizing. So based on the environment where you are working, you should have the concept of how to organize things, where to get the resources, who has to deal with these matters, who the lower level employee has to report to, whether we are maintaining a hierarchical system, that is an centralized system or decentralized system of management. All these things should be carried out before we proceed further. Okay, the third one is, what are the various types of managers that we have to appoint? If you consider any organization, there will be n number of projects or n number of activities that an organization might involve in. For each and every set of activities or tasks, you may assign a manager. The role of a manager is to categorize the work, give it to the right person, and get the work done at the right time. This is the basic and foremost principle of a manager, and it is the manager's responsibility to check whether it is as per the objectives of the organization. Whoever works under him, he has to check whether the person is working, meeting the needs of the organization. Okay. Here, the budgetary control is one of the foremost role that is being played by a manager. Whenever you work on any production or marketing department, you should have a control on the budgetary. It means that if your production is, that is, if your production is exceeding the demand, then there will be a change in the budget that is being planned, because you might have to face some loss whenever your supply is more than demand. If your production or the supply is not meeting the needs, then the reputation of your concern will be a big question mark. This is also to be considered. And the number of employees involved in the process of production or marketing is also to be considered whenever we are going for budget control, because for each and every employee you have to pay the wages. So if the number of employees involved is good enough to meet all the customers, it will be fine. If there are more number of employees and the customer is less, then your budget will be having some crunches. So these are some of the things that you have to mainly focus on. So whenever it comes for recruitment, there are certain things that are to be considered. A HR manager, a human resource manager, should deal with the concerned productive department or production department manager. He should check how many number of projects are currently available with the concern. Based on the availability of the project, he has to recruit the candidates. And when it comes for recruitment, he should be very careful. The skill of the candidate should meet the production department. If the production department is looking for a candidate with some specific skills, the candidate recruited by the HR manager should possess the same. If not, again there will be a hindrance in the budget, because he has to offer some special type of training to the employee who is being recruited. In current trends, the subject knowledge that is being learned by any candidate in any kind of universities or any colleges is not meeting the needs of the concern. It is because the learning that is being offered by universities or colleges is to the base level, but the working environment is entirely depending upon the recent trends. So only based on that criteria we have to look what kind of strategies is to be adapted to give training, whether we have to recruit a candidate who is already being trained with some other third party vendors, or if he is having some sufficient experience, or what kind of other training has to be offered to the candidate. These things are to be considered whenever we are going for recruitment. And the next thing is motivation. It is always better to have some motivation principles or strategies or policies with the HR department to retain the employees. Normally, the Maslow's hierarchy needs, which is considered as the basic motivation theory model, which consists of 5 different layers: physiological needs, safety needs, esteem needs, self-actualization needs, and so on. Okay, so these needs are to be satisfied. An employee will be happy only if he is getting all these needs. He should have some good food, he should have some good shelter, he should have some self-respect, he should have some self-esteem, he should have some self-fulfilled happiness in an environment to work with. If he is not happy, or if he is not safety in the place of work, there will be the productivity of the work done by that particular candidate will not meet the needs. So these things are to be considered or taken care by the management of any organization to improve the productivity. These are all simple steps that has to be taken care of. If this is being carried out, then the work will be always good. If not, the work will be always less. Today, in current trend, the HR retention effort is one of the foremost played by any HR manager in any organization. The people have the tendency to move out whenever they are not feeling happy, whenever they are not getting the good wages based on their experience, based on their qualification. These things are to be considered, these things are to be monitored by management, and those management which looks after all these criteria will have some good reputation across the other competitors in the same field. These are some basic concepts that I have covered here. In next I will deal with all these matters in depth. Thank you.